All right, so here's the rest of the notes on system of equations. So there's a couple of special cases that are going to happen. You would have an answer of no solution if, when you graph it, you end up with two parallel lines. So a solution would happen where the two lines cross. Right at the point of intersection is where a solution is located. So if you graph it and you have parallel lines never cross, therefore you can't have a solution to it. If you're doing it algebraically using substitution or elimination, it says that all the variables are going to drop out, and then the result is going to be a false statement. We'll do some more of these tomorrow. The second scenario is something called infinitely many answers or infinitely many solutions. So you're given these two equations. However, when you graph them, it turns out that they're the same line. So they're like sitting on top of each other. It's the same line. When you do it algebraically, all the variables drop out. However, you're left with a true statement, like 0 equals 0 or 2x equals 2x. So we will do more of those tomorrow as well. I wanted to spend some time on the story problems in case you're absent. Okay, so we're going to define our variables, set it up, and solve it. A vending machine takes dimes and quarters with the total value. How many of each coins are there? The last sentence almost always tells you how to set up your variables. So D is the number of dimes that you have, and Q is the number of quarters. The next thing that I teach is you look for your totals. The totals help you set up your two equations. So when I look for my totals, I have the number of coins total, and I have a money total. All right, so the number of coins total. I have some dimes, I have some quarters, and I have a grand total of 30. So there's my first one. The next one is my money equation. So this is where you need to associate the value. So a dime is worth 10 cents. So I would have 0.1D. A quarter is worth 0.25, 25 cents, so that's 0.25Q equals my $4.20. So this is how you set it up. I think on the test we're only going to request that you set it up. However, the bonus is probably for you to solve it. All right, so let's go ahead and solve this. You have two choices here: substitution or elimination. My coefficients are 1 and 0.1 and 0.25. I think elimination would be a harder idea. I think that substitution would really be much easier on this. So if you go over here, and I would definitely use this top one because your coefficients are just 1. It doesn't matter if you solve for D or Q. So I would subtract the Q from the other side, and D equals 30 minus Q. So on substitution, D and 30 minus Q are the same thing. So in place of D into that other equation, that's where this 30 minus Q goes. So I have 0.1 times 30 minus Q plus 0.25 25q equals 4.2. Let's distribute. So 0.1 times 30, so that's going to move the decimal one place to the left. So that's going to be 3. 1 times negative q is negative 0.1q. Bring down your plus 0.25q and 420. I have to combine like terms with my q's. So negative 0.1 plus 0.25, that gives me a plus 0.15q. I want to solve for q, so I'm going to subtract 3 over to the other side. So we get 0.15q equals 120. I'm going to divide both sides by 0.15 to get rid of that coefficient. And I stuck it in my calculator. 1.2 divided by 0.15 equals 8. So I have 8 quarters. Now I have to figure out how many dimes I have. I think the smartest thing would be to plug it into that when you already have D solved for. So D equals 30 minus 8, which is 22. So then I have 22 dimes. If you plug it back in, that would be a smart thing to do. So plug 22 in for D and plug 8 in for Q and double check that comes out to $4.20, and that one does. It works well. The next word problem. Sum of two numbers is 27. All right, so I always go straight to the last sentence. It says, what are the two numbers? You can make them whatever variables you want. So x is going to be my first number, and y is going to be my second number. Generally, each sentence gets you one equation. It says the sum of two numbers is 27. So sum means add, and they add up to 27. So that just gives me x plus y equals 27. The next sentence should get me my next equation. Twice the first plus 3 times the second is, you guys need to remember that is means equals in math. That's where, so I know that something equals 75. Okay, twice the first. So twice means multiply, so that gets me 2x. Plus 3 times the second, so that is 3y. So that's how I would set it up, and now you have your choice. You can either substitute or you can eliminate. Well, I already substituted on the last one, so I'm going to eliminate this one. So you can either eliminate x or y. They would both be equally easy, and in these cases, I generally do whatever is the smallest coefficient. So this has a coefficient of 2. That means I need a negative 2 here. So I'm going to have to multiply the top equation by negative 2 all the way through. So when I distribute it to all three terms, I get negative 2x minus 2y equals negative 54. The second one I don't need to do anything to. I'm just going to rewrite it. Double check. I have opposites. Once you have opposites, Then you add down. So you're just combining like terms in an up and down way. Negative 2x plus 2x adds up to 0. Negative 2y plus 3y adds up to 1y. And negative 54 plus 75 adds up to 21. So y equals 21. That's my first one. And then you just need to pick one of these two equations to plug it back into. I would definitely use that top one because I don't have any coefficients to mess with. So plug 21 in place of your y. And then just subtract it over to solve for the other one. And x equals 6. And then, so you can mental check that top one definitely works. And then if you plug it back in, so 2 times 6 plus 3 times 21 should equal 75. 12, that's 63. 12 plus 63, yep, that's 75. So that's all good. So that's how you would set up and solve some story problems.